Rosa Avenue is one of the most beautiful streets in Altadena, but it wasn't always that way. When Altadena was new, this was just a dirt lane surrounded by scrub brush. Things have changed, but it did remain unpaved for 20 years. In 1884, there was a torrential rain that knocked the sides of the lane out. In fact, very much dirt went away. It wasn't just on this street, but also on Santa Anita and Marengo. They needed to line the ditches, or zanjas, with stone from Arroyo and make sure that this was never washed away again. The trees were planted after that happened and after the stones had been put in place. So there was time for the trees to grow undisturbed and allow their roots to get deep. Once the roots were well established, the trees began to grow about a foot a year. And the trees were watered regularly because on either side of them were the orchards that were planted, the citrus orchards and the vineyards. So they always got watered, and so did the trees. 133 to 150 trees were planted along the lane. I still have not been able to determine the exact amount. However, they were planted from Altadena Drive to Woodbury Road. People began to walk up and down the lane because it was so pretty and the atmosphere was so good because, after all, they do produce oxygen for us. It must have been fun to drive a horse-drawn carriage up and down the lane, as in this photo. When the trees were about 20 years old, they were about 25 feet tall, and word of their beauty spread throughout the Southland. Only 3 trees in that early time had to be replaced. We have found the best trees for the replacement have been less than 3.5 feet tall. That gives them a better chance to get completely established with their roots and grow and thrive the way they should. We found a couple of trees that we had planted in front of the library that were about 12 feet tall, died after 2 years. So it's really important to just start out as a baby. The very best trees for replacement have been the trees that have self-germinated on the lane that we found at cleanup time, and different members of the lane association or the neighbors have made sure that they would grow and thrive. This is one of those trees. One of our Christmas Tree Lane Association men grew this tree. So as you can see, it's already been here for a year. It hasn't started to grow as fast as it's going to, but that's okay. The lane residents, when they move here, need to learn how to take care of the trees. And so Christmas Tree Lane Association has developed a pamphlet to give to them so that they'll know what to do and what not to do, what to plant near them and what not to plant near them. By the way, lawns are a big no-no. The reason for that is because during the summer, there is a soil fungus that occurs naturally here, and it just loves to have damp soil to live in. So if you're watering under the trees quite regularly in the summer, and not deeply but shallowly, that's when we have problems. We have had to replace many trees because of that fungus. This is a total volunteer community effort. Perhaps after COVID, you might want to join us in putting up or taking down the lights. It takes about 20 weekend mornings, so that's about 10 weekends, to put the lights up. We also have to test them before we put them up. And because we take the bulbs out, they have to be put into the lines, tested, and then put up. February is when we start taking the lights down, and it takes a little less time than lights up. But that's not the only thing we do all year. We do lane maintenance. As you can see, we need a little lane maintenance here. The other things that we do on the lane are inspect the wires, test each and every light bulb every year. Again, the maintenance. And I don't know if you can tell, on the ground, you can see some of the needles. Tony Ward spends a lot of time out in the lane gathering these needles up because he knows how important they are for mulch under the trees. So I thank Tony Ward for the years and years of service that he's put in. It's more than 30. And that's not an easy thing, but he loves these trees. So now you know more about what it takes to maintain this historical landmark. And I thank you for listening.